Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Martial arts chat.
Like my man B-Hop, who got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's give me
You see what filming this? You got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast live here on Spreaker. Tonight we'll be looking ahead to UFC 225, Romero versus Whitaker.
Martial arts
takes place in Chicago, Illinois. And before I introduce tonight's panel, first a shout out to our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. So local and national gyms in the UK, you need to do yourselves a favour. Check out A1FightGear.com. And if you want to get into shape, get back into shape, or keep trimming the fat off, visit beastgear.co.uk and use the coupon code Martial Arts Chat. You can save 15% off your purchases. They've got core sliders, straps and barbell pads, and complete strength and conditioning programs, all to suit your needs at any level. So to tonight's panel, returning to the show from MMA Nature, it's Mr. Matthew Penny. Matthew, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not doing too badly. I'm sort of baking in this southwest heat of the UK, but looking forward to a good event next weekend.
Awesome stuff, mate. Also returning the show, and also south of my border, it's G from the MMA Nature. G, how you doing, mate?
Hi, good afternoon. Good evening, Mr. McElroy, and good evening to the fellow panellists, Kevin and Matthew. Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be back on, so I'm looking forward to a fun-packed and action-packed show.
Awesome stuff, mate. Finally, from the main event, it's the one, the only Mr. Kevin Jones. Kev, how you doing, mate?
I'm loving life. I'm looking at two red two-door sports cars, man, and we got a family in the back. They're swimming. Life is good down here in West Texas. Funny y'all talk about the weather because it only got up to 93 down here today. We've been in the 100s for the last 5 days. So this is a breath of fresh air for the 1st of June in West Texas. That dry heat, baby. Sometimes you want a little bit of wind, but not too much wind because it's like opening the oven too quick, you know. And shout out to A1 Fight Gear, man. A1 Fight Gear got Tom. I was on there the other day, dude. They got all the gloves you want. Anybody you know that's fighting or that's training or anything, man, put them onto that. But yes, we're having a lovely day in West Texas. I'm so excited to get on the show.
Makes you sick. It's been raining here in Scotland all day.
I want to come visit you. Man, we would die for some rain. The cotton fields up in Lubbock would die for some rain right now.
Don't doubt it, mate. Generally,
in fact, they might die if they don't get any.
Well, that's true. Yeah. The drought's kicking in for sure. Let's look at this weekend's card. Stacked, as they say, I guess. I'm looking for some predictions ahead of this one, so let's get straight into the main card, and it's Phil Brooks, CM Punk, taking on Mike the Truth Jackson. I'm sure I don't really need to introduce this any further. Let's start with Mr. Kevin Jones in this one. Kev, it's in Punk's hometown. That'll probably help the pay-per-view buys. Will this one actually be a contest, or will it be another beating for one Phil Brooks?
It'll help the gate. And I would say it would help the gate, and yes, he'll be 0-2 after this fight. There's so many things I can say. I know there's going to be a lot of chatter on Twitter coming in through the fan questions. So I'm going to save a little bit for a later date or for a later time in the show in the program. Phil Brooks isn't going to win a fight, man. How old is this guy?
He's got to be pushing 40.
We talked a lot about this morning, and they were asking my guy. He's a big CM Punk fan. He's a little younger, and he was a little behind me watching the wrestling. He saw CM Punk, and he's a big CM Punk guy. And he was asking if his career is going to be a success, if win or lose this fight, or even if he loses, would his career be a success? I can't answer that because I'm not the man. But it's a little asinine to me to have to continue this. He's got a spot on the main card. The man he's fighting, Michael Jackson, is he runs a production for LFA. I've met the guy before. Personally, I don't care for him. I didn't really say that on the show this morning, but I don't care for the guy personally. His amateur record is not great. He's at one professional fight. He fought Mickey Gall to see who could fight CM Punk, and he lost the fight. and now he's getting to fight CM Punk anyways. And I hate the fact I don't blame Michael Jackson. And I don't blame CM Punk. Phil Brooks is his real name, and I'm so glad you said it. But I hate this being forced down my throat. He's taking a spot on a main card for guys that have put in a lot more years than him, and it's on here to sell tickets. Of course, he's fighting in Chicago because that's where he's from. That's going to help the gate. The pay-per-view would have been helped anywhere he's at. They maximize the revenue out of this deal, and so many people turn point a finger at other organizations for doing gimmicky fights when this fight is about as gimmicky as it comes. CM Punk, you got to give respect to somebody who gets in that cage and squares up. But he don't have any business in there. I'm also in the business of telling him the truth. He doesn't have any business in there. He's too old. He never trained. He never trained in this shit. He's not a fighter. And because he gets in there and fight, I'll give him respect for that. But yeah. Besides that, I blame the UFC for having to talk about this right now. And the main questions can just float in, and I'll start bashing him later in that. But I mean, I don't know anybody. I try to hold any personal grudges. I'm just mad that we even have to watch this fight. CM Punk pieced up by Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson will be running production for LFA and any other local shows and going back to what he does, which is not fighting after the fight.
Matthew, what are your thoughts on this Punk versus this Jackson contest? Do you see a career for Punk after this, and how do you think the fight will go down, Matthew?
Well, do you know what? After 4 years, because CM Punk's been training for 4 years now at a decent gym, it's Rufus Sport, isn't it?
Jeez, is it that long? Is it 4 years? Fucking hell.
Yeah, he left WWE early 2014, and he said that he was training from then to get ready. Mm-hmm. You think he'd be okay? You think he'd be okay now? I know he's had a few injuries, but he's still a blue belt at jiu-jitsu, and his striking is literally unknown. Mm-hmm. The only real thing that I found out about Jackson is that he has his own MMA website. So he does articles like journalists do, mm-hmm. and he does a bit of production, like Kevin said. So I saw his fight against Gall. We couldn't really find anything from that. But I think on YouTube I saw his one of his amateur fights. His hands are down all the time. You can hear his corner just screaming to him, "Keep your hands up." And he just doesn't. So against a guy, CM Punk, who's trained for 4 years and he's done it full time. He's mm-hmm. been full time doing this. Yeah, I kind of want to give Punk a go. After 4 years of training, you think he'd have a go against somebody like Jackson, who said in 2016. I found an article from him or an interview where he said, "I just want to do it just to say I've done it." So mm-hmm. he doesn't come across as a guy who really wants. He's doing it for the money, I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. So if CM Punk has significantly improved, as you should have, with training as much as he has, it could be a win. And you know what? If he does win, I think it's going to anger a lot of people because he might then stick at it. But I think if he loses, it'll be stupid and he needs to leave immediately. But like Kevin said, it's his hometown. He is there. He's on the main card. He's taken the spot from Overeem, isn't it? Which I'm pretty mad about. I think he deserves a spot a lot more than CM Punk does. But he's there to boost the tickets. So, as a WWE fan, CM Punk, come on, man. You've trained for 4 years for this. You can get a win against Jackson, who doesn't really care. You can get a win. Come on, I'm rooting for him, but I just don't know. I don't know. I hope so, because otherwise that 4 years, man, he's wasted his time. It's and true. Our time as well. Yeah,
waste of everybody's time, I suppose you're right, mate. Finally, G, give me your thoughts on the opener, Punk versus Jackson.
Yeah, I'm glad you opened up with this and sort of got it on the table. I think that there's a couple of glaring facts that people have recognised, that CM Punk is in the UFC not for his fighting ability, because he hasn't really got any of a martial arts nature. He's there because he's got a name, he's got a following, and Brock Lesnar proved previously, and probably Ken Shamrock before that, if you come from WWE, that means pay-per-view numbers. which is, I think, on his first fight with Mickey Gall, which Demetrius Johnson was the main event. Demetrius Johnson normally gets 125k to 200 buys potentially, and I think, if my memory serves him right, when CM Punk was on that particular card had 500,000 buys. So he's not there for his fighting ability. He's UFC are a promotional company. They're not a governing body, so I don't know why people get angry about rankings and who deserves what. They're a promotional. Every fighter is an investment. So think of it like stocks and shares. You're buying them and you want them to go up. So he's going to bring money to the gate. He's going to bring money to the pay-per-views. But obviously UFC still needs credibility. So if he loses this, then you can only flog that horse so much. Then it literally is a dead horse that you can't flog anymore. So, and I agree with Matthew, 3 or 4 years. I mean, yes, I would give respect to someone who gets in the cage. I've done traditional martial arts. I've never stepped into a cage. But if I could take 2 years out of my working life and train 5 days a week at London Shoot Fighters or Roger Gracie or something, I would get into a cage. Not on a UFC level, but certainly for an amateur fight. So my sort of respect goes not down in that way, but I think, you've obviously got all this resources and you've got the money where you can just totally focus on this. I've read a bit about this Mike Jackson fellow. I don't think it's beyond reasonable doubt that I'm going to call him CM Punk because that's what he brought to the UFC. I think I'm going to go for CM Punk win.
CM Punk should pick.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted a prediction. I gave him and I've also believe in aliens as well, so there you go.
You got to talk yourself into it. I'm glad somebody picked it.
Fair play, mate. Sticking the neck out. Good for you. That might pay off. I wonder if that's where the money's on. Guys, let's move on to the heavyweight division where the undefeated Tai Tuivasa takes on the old dog and a Chicago native of some respect in Andrei Arlovski. Let's start with Matthew this time. Matthew, what are your thoughts? Are the UFC looking to build possibly another heavyweight contender here on the back of Arlovski?
Yeah, I mean, a heavyweight division for a couple of years now has been stalling and it's needed fresh blood. So, Arlovski is one of these guys. He's been there, he's done it all. A former champ, he's beaten them all, but also at the same time, he's been beaten by all of them. So, was it 2016 to 17? He had 5 straight losses, and he's still there. I was shocked after that, but he's on a 2-win streak now. But was it Tuivasa?
Tuivasa, yes.
Unbeaten in his MMA career, 7-0. I mean, I see a lot of Mark Hunt in him. I haven't really seen him get hit in his last fight, but he's got good strength. He just puts his head down and just strikes and goes for it, So I'd like to see some new blood in the heavyweight division. I'd like to see Tuivasa get the win, and I think he will. A big dude too. Arlovski I know is a brown belt or a black belt, brown belt. So you'd think coming up against a guy, I think every one of his wins was with strikes. You'd want to take him down, but I think Tuivasa's near 265 in every one of his fights. That's a big dude to keep down for 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm a big believer. I really want some fresh blood coming up in the UFC heavyweight rankings. I don't want the same guys in the top 10 all the time. So Tuivasa, TKO win. I know Arlovski hasn't been anything lost by TKO or KO in a long time, but I think it's going to happen.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. G, what are your thoughts on this heavyweight contest?
Yeah, I think this is a classic case of where Arlovski's obviously got the name, been there, done it, like Matthew says, and Tuivasa is an up-and-coming young lion. And it's a classic case where you're trying to build your young prospect up to top 10 or top 7 level type fighter, and you give him a name, and you're probably banking on your young prospect beating that fighter pretty handsomely. And Arlovski, even though he's done some great things, he's always had sort of the glass jaw labelled at him, and a few good punches, and he's pretty much down. And this young guy from a typical Polynesian island build, very thick set, not great deal of muscularity, but a great deal of power like Mark Hunt. And I reckon a few punches flush to Orlovsky's jaw, and those Dracula fangs will be on the floor. So I'm going to stand up.
Well said, mate. Finally, Kev, what do you reckon for this heavyweight fight in the main event?
I think I don't know if the UFC's planning on the guy from the South Pacific winning this deal. And how do you say? I've never seen the guy fight. To be honest with you, but based on what's said, is you got Orlovsky a lot. You can't ever count Orlovsky out, but Orlovsky is the type of guy that he wins fights when he's not supposed to win them, and he loses fights when he's not supposed to lose them.
Yeah,
So I don't think you can count him out, man. Orlovsky keeps his chin tucked in pretty well, keeps his shoulders pretty tight whenever he's swinging with folks. What you got to do with a guy like him, which we've seen before. When we fought, what was it, Frank Mir? We thought that was going to be a great fight.
Yep.
Or we thought it was going to be better than it was, I guess. But you draw him out a little bit, and bigger, younger guys. A guy at 7-0, it's kind of an anomaly. In boxing, you can kind of bet your hat on it. But in MMA, losses come. And, they come. If a guy makes it around like 10-0, start betting against him because he's going to lose, But a guy right there in that window, big dude prospect they're trying to bring up, he's got to be a little patient with this veteran. Orlovsky's been in there a lot of times. He made a lot of mistakes. Orlovsky's a bit of a head case. But I think if a young buck can drive him out in those later rounds, then that's when you're going to have a shot at him. That's when you're going to have a really good shot at him. But some of these heavyweights so big when they come in, they don't have the gas tank, and young guys a lot of time don't have the wherewithal to not just jump on a guy. But yeah, if you take this guy in the second round, it'll get a lot easier for you. You don't want to get in there with a fresh Orlovsky and stand in the pocket with him because he throws straight punches and he knows where to put them.
Oh, he definitely
he's good
does.
at it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just ask Travis Brown, man. Yeah, totally. Let's move on then with Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson, with the rumour being that the winner takes on Cyborg sometime later this year, perhaps in the fall. Let's start with G on this one. G, who are you picking in this women's featherweight contest?
Yeah, Holly Holm's she's had an interesting last 3 or 4 fights. I think she's lost 3 out of 4. Definitely against Cyborg. She lost for that Dutch girl. She beat the Brazilian Correa with a head kick. So she's found a bit of inconsistency in the last 3 or 4 fights. And I don't know, if she wins Megan Anderson, then a fight with Cyborg, you never really felt like Cyborg was in any danger at all. Holly Holm had to do what she had to do, which was sort of stick and move, but he never, in my opinion, threatened Cyborg. So this fight, I'm not too sort of keen on really. But Megan Anderson, she could certainly step up, a few places by Holly Holm, still considered in women's MMA a pretty big name. But I think Holly Holm has to get back in the win column and capture another title. So I'm going to give Holm another chance and say she'll probably nick this one.
Fair play. Kev, give me your thoughts on this one of the women's featherweight contest. Oh, did we lose Kev? Kev, you still there, mate? I think we may have lost him. We'll see if we can get him back in. Matthew, let's see your thoughts on...
I'm back
now. My bad. Kev, you still there?
He's back.
You're back. Give us your thoughts on Megan Anderson and Holly Holm, mate.
Thoughts on the fight are... it depends on what Holly Holm shows up, really.
Right.
When she's at her best, I don't think Megan Anderson has a shot at her. she just works too well from the outside and sticks to her game plan, sucks people in, and with her being with her being a southpaw and the way she moves away from right hands, she's too good to for a lot of these girls to stand a chance with her. They just get sucked in, and then they when they fight this long with them, it'll be Holly Holm's fight. Now, if she's active, if she's on point, and she's firing when she's moving, then I think it'll be a short night. But if the Holly Holm shows up that's not with it, she might squeak out a victory too. You gotta take Holly Holm in this fight. She's just, to me, and me coming from being such a boxing fan.
Yeah.
When you watch her footwork and where she puts people where she wants them to be before they engage, it's just not it's not close a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. The Cyborg fight was an anomaly because obviously Cyborg is carrying a lot more power and knows what she's doing in here, and this is not a boxing ring. So you got to point to Holly Holm. I'm sure she's a big favorite, and still no way you can pick against her.
Fair play. Finally, Matthew, give me your thoughts on Anderson versus Holm.
I'm just really pleased that they've given Anderson a sort of warm-up fight before they give her Cyborg. When she all signed up and this fight was announced, she went straight on to the MMA hour with Ariel Helwani, and he was saying, everybody was expecting you to go straight in against Cyborg, and she was there and she said, I don't mind, it's good to get in there and
truly blasé, yeah.
Fight. Yeah, I mean, because Cyborg, she's had 2 fights now against debuting women and rolled over them with ease. Yeah. I don't think people gloss over the fact that there is a big gulf between the UFC and a lot of other promotions, So I think it'll be a good warm-up. It's the best warm-up fight that Anderson can have. Obviously, I agree with most people that her striking is super impressive. And what makes it better is I looked at her height compared to Holm and Cyborg. Anderson towers above them and has got a longer reach. I don't know. I know Holly Holm has such great boxing, but I will give it to Anderson on here purely because I just don't want to see Holly Holm against Cyborg again. I think Holm is one of these girls who she's probably better than 99% of the roster, but then just can't beat Cyborg, and I don't want to see it again, personally. So I'm giving it to Anderson. Holly, if she loses, that's 5 losses in the last 6. So it's a really difficult position. What does she do? Does she go back down in weight, or I'm not sure where she goes from here. So both got great striking, obviously, and Holly probably has better kicks, but I'll give it to Anderson purely because I just want her to win, and I'd prefer to see Anderson against Cyborg than another home Cyborg fight.
Co-main event sees another interim belt. Here we go, on the line. God, they love it. They just love it, don't they? They love this interim belt these days. You got the loudmouth Covington takes on the experienced RDA. Let's start with Matthew on this one. Matthew, RDA Covington, who have you got on this?
Thing is, this fight doesn't even need an interim belt.
No.
There is so much hate between these two guys because obviously all of Covington's comments against Brazil. It doesn't need an interim belt, and I don't think Woodley is that injured. I think he's back in the summer, so you don't need an interim belt. I just don't get it.
Definitely.
But Covington is doing his job well. I think I don't think he's dabbled in. I don't think he's done professional wrestling, but I think he's appeared in wrestling promotions. So I think he gets it. Yeah. I don't know if he actually has these views for sure against Brazil and just all these outlandish views, but he is going to get people to tune in and watch, and they want to see him get his ass kicked. So he's doing a good job. I mean, RDA will be his biggest competition to date. Literally the most complete mixed martial artist ever. So aggressive with pressuring his opponents against the cage. Mm-hmm. Striking so powerful, he just doesn't stop. Black belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I know Covington is a national wrestling champion, but RDA is just this complete package, and I don't think he's not that old. I know he's had a lot of fights, but I don't think he's getting that old. So with his experience, I think RDA will get the victory here. I know Covington has a good record. I think he's like 12-13-1. Not like a lot of fights, but a lot of his wins go to like decision. So he's not that impressive, but to get really to that next level, I think he needs to step it up in this fight and just bring out a spectacular knockout or a really good submission or something. But I just don't think it's going to happen. So I will go with RDA TKO in the first or second round.
Ooh,
probably
nice.
he'll be doubly aggressive because of all the comments against Brazil. He'll want to kick Colby's ass.
Yes, true. Yeah.
So, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to go out there and just kick his ass, and it's going to be so good.
I mean, the trash talking. I get it, right? Everybody's trying to be Conor McGregor these days, and they're all turning the volume up. Colby Covington's it has been cringy, but you made a good point there, Matthew. It's like, but there is that part of me that wants to see him, get his arse handed to him, and
it works. Works. If you say hateful comments, like you're gonna get people to tune in, and watch you get beat. It works.
Exactly.
And he knows it.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how smooth or articulate you are. It's if you can get the cheap heat, then it's definitely working and it's plugging itself in here. So I guess kudos to him. G, what about you? It's RDA. It's Colby Covington. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, this is a interesting co-main event for all the reasons that we know about. I think it was tagged as a interim because when it was announced, no one really knew what these plans were, probably including him. But I mean, I think it's the era of you've got to have a persona which is slightly controversial and a bit loud and a bit, big mouthish. Chael Sonnen does an interesting podcast, and he uses the word business. And if you look at the old WWF, WWE, or other promotions, they refer to wrestling as the business. So there's the fighting element, and then there's the business, which means promotion and getting bums on seats. So I think that if you're an up-and-coming martial artist, then you've got to start looking at that, not just your fighting, which is if you're traditionally, it's a bit of a shame, but if you've got to go with the times, then you accept it and move on. And I think Chael Sonnen used an example of Henry Cejudo, the Olympic gold medalist in flyweight, and he was sort of saying, yeah, lovely, great record, blah, 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 but if you're just going to be a nice guy, you're going to get passed over. But Colby, he has won 12-1 or 11-1, or he's got a very... So, you can only take your trash talking so far. After that, you have to win. Imagine if he won one fight and lost 12. You can be the most funniest guy, hilarious guy, controversial. You're not going to be in the UFC for a start. So you still got to win your fights, majority, 70-30, 80-20. But you've got to have a persona. So, but going back to the actual fight itself, RDA, a very good martial artist, very well-rounded, very powerful, certainly very powerful in lightweight, maybe has lost a bit of that power in welterweight. But I think Colby, with his wrestling, he's not afraid to take jiu-jitsu expert practitioners down, because the last win he had was against Damian Maia. And he repeatedly took, he took Damian Maia down a number of times. And normally you don't want to see the ground cage floor when you're with someone like Damian Maia. So I'm going to give it to Colby Covington, because he'll probably not be scared to take RDA down. He'll probably win a round or two with that strategy. And I think he'll be able to take RDA's pressure, and I think RDA's cardio might slightly start to fade in the latter rounds because of his extra pound. I know he's had 2-3 fights, but this is going to be a 5-round fight. So you got round 4, round 5, which are the championship rounds. So I think there's a legitimate question mark on that phase of the fight. So I'm going for pretty crap trash talker, Colby.
Fair play.
He's not funny, he's not smart, and he's not hard-hitting. He just says stupid, hateful things, which any monkey could do, to be honest, any idiot.
Fair play, mate. Finally, Kev, who are you picking for RDA versus Covington?
First, from a man, his judo. He's not from far from here, man. We're not too far from the border, and I gotta stick for him, man. He got crushed by Demetrius Johnson, and a young guy like that, you know, anything you can't put yourself in somebody else's mind, man. That could have been real hard for him. We'll see what he does, you know, from here on out. Whatever he does, I wish him success. But we love that dude around here. Now, as far as Colby Covington, I think everything's been kind of said, man. The dude started getting, I loved how you used the wrestling term heat earlier, John Boy. He got heat because Fabricio Verdum threw a boomerang at his face, and it got caught on camera. Now, I'd seen him fight. The name rang a bell. I could have picked him out of the lineup before this, but since then, he has really embraced this hatred that he had towards him, and he's playing off of it, and it's beautiful. This is why he's. I don't know if this is why he's in the fight or you know, because of his record, but he's in the fight nonetheless. And it's a case of like shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
He's in here. He can make the most of it. I don't like RDA at welterweight. I never have. He's used to, when he looked at his best, is when he had when he's landing punches and he's standing in front and he can pick a guy apart. He got some hard shots, but not at welterweight. We're talking about a different game here. You know, once you make the pass over, and in boxing we'd be talking about junior middleweight to you know, close to light heavyweight, super middleweight. Once you make that pass after from 147 pounds to 154 pounds, they hit you. They hit a lot harder at 154, and the increments aren't as large going up. But we're talking about a guy coming up from 154 pounds and fighting at 170. And I've seen the results of it, and he doesn't look the same. He didn't look the same before he moved up, and I don't think he looks the same now. And I'm going to pick Colby Covington, the loudmouth. He's running around with porn stars and shit, making videos. I mean, this is entertaining, okay? If anybody's doing it the right way, he's not throwing propane tanks at slug bugs.
True, very true. Good point, mate. That's a great point.
That's what I was doing. Conor McGregor was throwing guardrails against buses. That was me with the propane tanks against the slug bugs.
No, right, okay.
Conor McGregor tried to roll up on me on a slug bug the other day.
But that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you talk about turning the volume up, but yeah. You're right, man.
I think RDA though, in one of the video packages, one of his last fights, he kept saying that he really likes it at this weight and he prefers being at this weight and he feels better than ever. So it's funny that now both of you guys have said that you don't think he looks the same, when from his perspective he said that he feels better.
I think part of what sticks out to me is when he beat Pettis, it appeared to me that he was just going to run shit. And when he hurt his toe and couldn't fight Conor, and when he comes back, I mean, the way he did guys, the way he did Donald, the way he did
twice.
Anthony Pettis, it looked like he was going to have a long, long run. And he doesn't look like the guy that fought Anthony Pettis and that fought Donald Cerrone. And, you know, he doesn't look like the guy after the injury.
I think the weight cutting got to him. That's why he probably enjoys welterweight. It's
could be, yeah.
Weight cut,
I mean, why else would he make the jump to 170? You're probably right, G. Yeah, I imagine the weight cuts. I mean, it's definitely a factor. So if you're top of the mountain, you've got to be on top of your game, and perhaps that cut to 155 was just too much of a struggle.
I want to see more videos with him by the poolside with porn stars. More porn stars.
Nah, I don't know.
This is gold. Underground gold, baby.
I don't know about that. Let's move to my favourite part of the show, answering fan questions. And let's see, we'll start with. Let's see, we'll start.
Romero?
Oh, my bad. We've missed the main event. Excuse me. We've got our main event. How could I forget? Robert Whitaker, Yo Romero. Yeah, I mean, it's. I love me some Soldier of God. It's a rematch. Let's start with you, Kev. Then, Kev, give me your thoughts. Who's walking out with the middleweight crown?
So, best weight coming in if I make you one. Cool, he could be. He got too much power. The guy that that obviously has not mattered. This
Whoa, Kev, I'm losing you. I'm losing you big time, man. I'm losing you big time. Say it again. It's cracking up, my friend.
Whitaker likes to rush in.
Got you now.
Whitaker and he used to be a bully in his fights, and he's very explosive.
Yeah.
My man, Yoel Romero, the Soldier of God.
Don't forget Jesus!
He sees things. He sets them up. And he will see something. He will set it up, and it will be done within 3 rounds. Yoel Romero's walking out. Next middleweight champion.
Holy moly. New champ and new. Matthew, what about you? Is it and still or and new?
I'll keep it quite quick because I know we've got time constraints and stuff. I think it will be and still. I think the 5 rounds will be significant. I know the 2 went very close with 5 rounds before, but I just feel Romero is another year older. He is very explosive, but then in between those explosions, he does tire very quickly. Mm-hmm. He's carrying a lot of weight, and he's another year older. Will that cut be harder for him? Will that cut take more out of him? I think so. I mean, Whitaker is a great wrestler and great all round, but then Romero, he's an Olympian. He has got a great gas tank, but with the age, it's become more just explosive, and he does tire in between. So I'll give it to Whitaker. I'm not as a massive fan as a lot of people are about Romero. Like, a lot of people worship him. I think he's cool, but I think I'll just give it to Whitaker for this one.
Fair enough.
Everybody has to have a guy, and that's my guy. Yoel Romero. He's lovable. He's like a big teddy bear. I just want to give him a kiss on top of his head.
He's the Ric Flair of MMA. He's the dirtiest player in the game. That's it.
My man's DC.
Yeah, guys, we're really short on time, but so G, I'm sorry, mate, but just quickly give me your thoughts before we move on to fan questions. Is it and still or and new times 2 for you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Yoel Romero. Whitaker's obviously highly skilled in wrestling and Commonwealth Games. For guys that don't know, Commonwealth Games is the old sort of British Empire Games, but Romero is Olympic level, and I think he doesn't have to change a lot, and he'll probably get it via a KO this time. So I'm going for Yoel Romero.
Soldier of God. You all know the rules, guys. Floor is yours. First question is from Facebook. It's from Michael Love. If CM Punk gets beat, is he done with the UFC?
Oh, that's easy. Yes, pretty much done. Yeah, you can't flog it anymore. I don't think. No.
You could even do like a Sage Northcutt. No.
Unless they could introduce a tag team match, then yeah.
Kev, what you got?
Or a table ladders and chairs.
Possibly yes, possibly no. No telling. It could go either way.
If it sells in pay per
I thought he
view,
had a 3-fight contract, didn't he?
Yeah, many times we saw those tore up though after a 0-2. But yeah, if it sells on pay per view,
where money's to be made, money will be made.
Yeah,
Don't count it out.
Great point, mate. Great point.
But you still got to win to make money. You don't make money on losing.
I don't know. Not in Chicago on the UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, he's a huge exception.
Wrestler to fight him.
Yeah.
Undertaker versus CM Punk.
I think the sad thing is,
Lita versus CM Punk.
Lita? He went for Lita.
There you go. I'll buy that. I'll give Abu Dhabi $2 for that.
Let's move on, guys. I've got my man Kobe from Kobe's Corner. I love you, babe. Mike Jackson has been billed as 0-1, but he's 9-1 in kickboxing/boxing. He has 2 MMA fights, 10 years of training. Jackson's experience is being ignored. Why?
I said in my prediction, he in an interview he said he only wanted to do a couple of MMA fights because he got an MMA website and he just wanted to say and show to people that he's done it. I think if he wins, I don't think he'll continue. So unless something's changed in between, then I think when he was on the MMA Hour with Ariel, he said he prefers boxing, and he's done a boxing fight since his Mickey Gall fight. So I think he'll probably go there even if he wins, probably.
Mike Jackson has been training. I guarantee you, Mike Jackson has been training his ass off for this fight, and I think he has enough in the tank. Mike Jackson's very tall and long guy, and I don't think that bodes well for CM Punk. Mike Jackson's going to keep things standing up. And that's great.
Kev, I'm losing you again, my friend. I'm losing you again. We'll quickly move on. Hopefully I'll catch you on this one. One more from Facebook before we wrap up. It's from Craig Roberts, who asks, Robert Whitaker for the win. Most times when a young guy beats an older guy and they rematch, the young guy wins again, but more decisively, and this time I think without a knee injury. RDA hopefully puts on a whipping on Colby. Big Bully beatdown, just destruction on the feet, I think, with body shots. And Alistair Overeem loses when the other guy sneezes on his chin. Thoughts? That chin is gone, isn't it?
There's a lot of hate in that tweet.
I think Overeem.
It's not warranted. I mean, I'm not.
I think Overeem is on the way down. Curtis will probably do a similar strategy to what he did to Mark Hunt. RDA, he could destroy Colby, but Whitaker, I think with his health problems, people forget about his health problems. Only 4 months ago, because he couldn't fight in February when Romero came in and absolutely destroyed Rockhold. So has recovered from his health problems. His knee was only 8, 9, 10 months ago was damaged. So I don't think it's as clear cut as that, but
no.
It could happen either way.
Well, fair enough. Okay, guys, we're out of time. Let me extend my thanks to the panel here today, starting with Mr. Kevin Jones. Kev, let everyone know about the main event and how they can check you out, brother.
Oh, if you're in the Lubbock, Texas area in West Texas, you log into Double T 97.3 or you tune into it. And then DoubleT973.com. Always love being on the show. And thanks to our panel, man. I love getting involved with you. I was going to bring this up, too. I don't know if y'all still got beef with France or if there's no French guys. We need a French guy on the show. I think we need to bring a French guy.
Laura?
The Scots don't have a problem with the French is English.
Yeah, it's the old alliance.
Yeah, 100 years. Cordial. Yeah.
Cowboy seems to be friends with, everybody seems to be friends over in the UK now.
Yeah, we're all hugging and kissing.
The French, that was kind of my wonder.
Since Brexit, anyway.
I'm not getting involved now. I'll save that for the political podcast. But G, MMA Shower, always a pleasure to get your time. G, later letting us know where to check out MMA Shower.
Yeah, so on Facebook, the MMA Shower, like our page, go on to leave comments. Just another quick announcement on our right for the MMAtakeover.com, which is a very good website. So if you can, check me out there as well. But thank you, John, for your show. Always enjoy coming on, and hopefully you'll come on to mine soon.
Oh, anytime, mate. You got it. Finally, to Matthew Penny, massive thank you again, mate. Let everyone know where to hit you up and all your stuff online, brother.
So we're on Twitter at MMA Nature, and we've got our website, mmanature.co.uk. We're currently looking for extra writers to come on board. Thanks for having me on, John. It's always a pleasure. I think that was my 5th or 6th show, so always fun, as always. Great panel, as always. Thanks, guys, for coming on. And here's to a good weekend ahead.
Definitely, my friends. If you've liked this podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes by searching for Martial Arts Chat. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Martial Arts Chat there as well. Be sure to check out our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear and, of course, beastgear.co.uk. Remember, use the coupon code Martial Arts Chat. Finally, on Facebook, you guessed it, it's facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.